Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're going to take a look at the Maggotkin of Nurgle, and in particular the Drowned Men subfaction. Now, in this video, we're going to talk through all the special rules and abilities that we unlock thanks to playing in the Drowned Men subfaction of the Maggotkin of Nurgle. We'll then take a look at some units we can use to start off our army before further exploring other units to bring into the force to give it some more oomph. With that said, at the end of the video, we'll show you a little sample army list to put it all into practice for you to use as some inspiration for creating your own Drowned Men army, or indeed copy ours if that's what you wish to do. So with that all said, Maggotkin of Nurgle, Drowned Men. You can find these particular subfaction rules inside the battle tome. Self-explanatory there, though not all subfactions are always found inside their battle tome. The cool rule we get with this is after deployment but before the first battle round begins, you can move each of your friendly units of Drowned Men, Lord of Afflictions, or Pasco Blight Lords up to 8 inch. If both players have units that can move before the game in such a way, you roll off and the winner determines who moves first. On top of this, you have Battleline Pasco Blight Lords. So, pretty self-explanatory what they're trying to get you to take in this. They want you to take the Putrid Blight Kings on the flyers, the Pasco Blight Lords, and the Lord of Afflictions, which is the hero that goes alongside. So, we've got a nice setup, some really cool, fun-looking models to bring to the table. And so, where to begin but with the Lord of Afflictions. Now, I want to say something first as well. The Lord of Afflictions actually comes in the Pasco Blight Lords box set, and when you build the Lord of Afflictions, so long as you've got one in your army, you are able to build a single model unit of Pasco Blight Lords. So you can use all the models in the box, which is really fun. So Lord of Affliction and a single Pasco Blight Lord will be where we look to first. Lord of Afflictions is 8 wounds on a 3-up save. Pretty nice. His Fester Pike has 4 attacks, 3 3s, rend 1 damage D3, and another 6 attacks at 3 3s, no rend damage 1, coming from the claw, mouthparts, and sting of his mount. He obviously can fly, he's on a giant fly, and he's got the Incubatch as well, where in your hero phase you roll a dice for each unit within 3 inch, and on a 2+, that unit suffers a mortal wound. If the unit is Nurgle, it suffers a mortal wound on a 6 instead. This is such a virulent, toxic thing, it even rots Nurgle. Rack and Ruin, after this unit finishes a charge move, roll a dice for each enemy unit within an inch. Add 2 to the roll if this model is armed with a Dolorous Toxin, which you can choose to be armed with, and on a 4+, the enemy unit will suffer D3 mortal wounds. Lastly, the Swarm descends. During deployment, instead of setting up this unit on the battlefield, you can place it to one side. If you do so, when you set up a unit of friendly Blight Lords or Plague Drones during deployment, that unit can join them in reserve. Up to 2 Blight Lords or Plague Drone units in any combination can join in this way. At the end of your movement phase, you can set up the units on the battlefield more than 9 inch away from enemy units. If you do so, set up all the units that have joined wholly within a 12 inch of this and more than 9 inch away from enemy units as well. So he brings quite a lot to the table. We can bring in some deployment shenanigans, some mortal wound damage, impact hits when he charges, and a pretty decent fighting profile, all things told. Now, alongside this, obviously, we're going to look to get more Pasco Blight Lords. The single miniature does not actually count as a battle line option, so you can't use that as your battle line one. You would need to grab a unit of 2 Pasco Blight Lords to be your battle line option for the army. Now, Pasco Blight Lords are pretty similar. Regardless if they're single or double, they've got the same stats. So, 8 wounds on a 4-up save. Pretty solid stuff. Blighted weapons are pretty much just Blight King weapons. 5 attacks, 3 3s, rend 1 damage 1, and the same mount attacks as the Lord. Now you've got the Rack and Ruin rule, where after a model in this unit finishes a charge move, you roll a dice for each enemy model within 1 inch. Add 2 to that roll if the model is armed with a Dolorous Toxin, which one of the models in the unit can be, and that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If this unit has more than 1 model, roll to determine if mortal wounds are inflicted after each single model finishes its charge. They've also got the Relentless Attackers rule, which is something Blight Kings have as well. At the end of the combat phase, you pick an enemy unit with a wounds characteristic of 3 or less, that's within 3 inch of this unit, and roll a dice for each model in the Blight Lords unit that's within 3 inch of the enemy unit. For each roll that exceeds the target's wound characteristic, the enemy unit will suffer a mortal wound. So, some nice mortal wound output in a varying bunch of different ways, and decent fighting profiles there on the models as well. Where to next though? And we look at some other heroes to bring in. I really like the Harbinger of Decay. This is a 7-win hero on a 3-up save, move 6, so he's not quite as fast as your flyers, but he can keep up. The Plague side isn't too bad. 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 1 damage D3, and another 4 attacks. Really nothing from his bite from his demonic mount. Now his Augur of Entropy is pretty cool, where if friendly units with his ability are within 7 inches of general at the start of the first battle round, you get an extra D3 command points at the start of the game. And his Shudder Blight as well, at the start of the combat phase you can pick an enemy unit within 3 inches of it, and on a 3+, the unit can't issue or receive commands at that phase. Gutrot Sprume is another hero I really like to bring into the force. 8 wounds, 4 up save. He is a Blight King hero, but he does have a cool rule where Master of the Slime Fleet, he can pick up to 3 Maggotkin of Nurgle mortal units, and they can come on from the board edge along with him, deploying off the table. So this is just more shenanigans to play around with, taking more models off your table. You've got the Lord of Afflictions that can take units. You've got Gutrot that can take units. They're a nice little combo. Now looking into other models, I think they're really going to sort of fit the feel of what we're trying to go for. This Mounted Nurgle Force has definitely got some really nice hammers within it. Allgut's Demon Spear for 300 points, 14 wounds and a 3-up save I think is a really nice pick. His Rod Axes for 7 attacks, 3/3s, Realm 1 damage D2, and then the Monstrous Claws there with a nice 5 attacks, 3s and 2s, Ren 2 damage 3. He can put out a decent amount of damage. On top of this, once per turn, he can issue a command to a friendly mortal Maggotkin of Nurgle unit for free, which is really nice, saving you on some CP. And then any unmodified ward roll for this unit that's a 6, he can deal some mortal wounds back to the attacking unit if he wants to as well. Lastly, we have Putrid Blight Kings. These are pretty much unmounted versions of your Pascal Blight Lords. You get 5 of them in a unit, and they do get more wounds per unit than your Blight Lords, though they do sacrifice, a decent amount of their movement for it. Pretty much same as those Riders. They've got all the same abilities for the unit, except there's 5 of them, and the champion gets an extra wound. And so, our sample army list. This is really a quite simple army to collect. 4 boxes of Pascal Blight Lords get you this 1000-point army. We've gone for No Place for the Weak, which is where we choose to destroy our opponent's battle line. And then we've got the Inspired Triumph there. We're 20 points under. A decent chance we're going to get it for +1 to wound. Now, Lord of Afflictions is going to be our general with the command trait Overpowering Stench, meaning enemies can't use commands or receive commands within 7 inch. And then the artifact, the Split Horn Helm, turns his disgustingly resilient ward save into a 4+, meaning this model can have a 2-up armor save and a 4-up ward save. Really solid hero for the army. He's going to take a lot of damage to take him down. Then we've got 3 units of Pascal Blight Lords, all of them 2. They're going to be in a Bounty Hunter, so that nice +1 damage against Galatian veterans. And then we've got another single Pascal Blight Lord filling out the army for us. He's not in any battalions because he can't be. He's not a battle line unit, and he's one model. He's not really going to suit anything for us. 980 points out of 1,000, 20 points under is really solid. No reinforcements, no allies, 63 wounds is pretty much on the average, and 5 drops. If you've been playing with drowned men in Warhammer Age of Sigmar, let us know how you've been going and what you would do down in the comments below. That's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, drop us a comment down below in the comment section and let us know what you enjoyed about the video and what you'd like to see more of on the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here we have at Sinful Gaming, you can do so on our Discord server, which is linked in the video's description. Also linked in the video's description is our Patreon and YouTube members, where you can go to help support the channel and allow us to keep doing what we're doing. As a special thank you to our Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, Kenny Lower, Outer Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek, and Giappi390, and to our YouTube members: Greenroots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lockloric, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, and Monty's Tabletop Terrain. And lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now, everyone.